Hello and welcome back. I hope you have had a lovely week. Today's episode feels a little different because I want to reintroduce myself. When I recorded my first intro episode back in January last year, the way I described my work felt accurate at the time. But over the past year, things have evolved inside my business, and I've realised that what I've been doing and how I've been describing it haven't quite matched up anymore. Now, part of this sharing today is because this is about me really stepping into the work I've been doing over the last few months. And part of it is so that you can get a clearer understanding of what I actually do now. Because there have been some pretty big shifts over the past year. But when I look back, it all makes sense. All the detours, all those windy roads, and what might seem like a slightly odd mix of qualifications have all led me here. And who knows if this is the final destination or simply another bend in the path. But for now, this is where we're at. And for some of you listening, it might feel like this evolution has happened very quickly. But the truth is, it's been many, many years in the making. The difference is that for a long time, I chose to identify with only certain parts of what I do and not others. It felt safer that way. It felt more comfortable to stick with what people thought I did rather than talk openly about what had actually been unfolding behind the scenes. Not because I wasn't proud of the work or because I felt like a fraud, but because it felt easier to stay within an identity that people already understood than have to explain myself. I worried it might confuse people. I wondered if people would question how I had arrived at this place or whether my experience and knowledge would be taken seriously when I had previously been known for something else. But a few weeks ago, something interesting happened. I ran a couple of market research calls. They were meant to be exactly that, just research, but they turned into something much more insightful. At one point, I asked a very simple question. I asked, how would you describe what I do? And in both calls, the response was almost identical. They said, well, based on this conversation, you're a business mentor. That really made me stop and think. So I asked the same question to some of my current clients, and their answers were very similar. It made me realize something important. You might know me as a life coach. Some of you might associate me with health and well-being. Some of you might even remember when I worked in the fitness world. Side note, I haven't actually taught a fitness class in over 4 years. And it wasn't that long ago that I was still describing myself as a health and well-being coach. In fact, that title is still on my business cards, which is one of the reasons I've quietly stopped handing them out. Over time, though, I realized that I was naturally supporting more and more of my clients with their businesses as well. So I updated my title to life and business coach and mentor because that felt closer to the truth. And I still believe deeply that we cannot separate the two. When you're self-employed, your business affects your life, and your life affects your business. They are completely intertwined. And if you want to build a sustainable business that actually works with the season of life you're in, you have to look at both. But what became really clear from these conversations is that while my clients absolutely value the life coaching and the well-being side of things, what they most wanted from me and still want from me is the business mentoring that has naturally woven itself into my work over time. When I look back, it actually makes perfect sense. I have a physiology degree. I'm a qualified personal trainer and nutritionist, and I'm also a qualified accountant, and I've been teaching accountancy and tax for over 24 years. Add to that 12 years of being self-employed, navigating burnout more than once, and learning the hard way how to run a business without sacrificing your health or your values. What once looked like a strange mix of qualifications and experiences suddenly makes a lot more sense. All of those pieces have led me here. They allow me to support business owners from multiple angles, looking after their health, understanding their finances, managing their time and energy, and building a business that doesn't push them into burnout. Over the years, I've also had to make some big changes in my own life. I've had to put boundaries in place to protect my energy. I've had to learn how to run a business in a way that doesn't sacrifice my health or my values. I've had to learn the difference between a genuine hell yes and a clear no. I've had to learn how to ask for help. And I've learned that imperfect but courageous action is almost always the only way forward. There have also been some difficult seasons in both my life and my business, but they have also helped me become clearer about what I want my life to look and feel like, and how I want my business to support that vision rather than compete with it. Excuse me, more imperfect, courageous action happening there. I've learned how to recognize when I'm getting close to the edge and what I need to do to step back before burnout takes over again. I've learned what works for my energy and what absolutely does not. And I've become much more discerning about where I invest my time, my energy, and my money. So when I step back and look at the bigger picture, it actually makes complete sense that my work has evolved into business mentoring, supporting women to build beautiful businesses without burning themselves out in the process. So if my clients see me as a business mentor, then it's probably time I start owning that too. What that doesn't mean is that we stop looking at your life, because as I've already said, your life and your business will always go hand in hand. You didn't choose self-employment so you could work yourself into the ground. You chose this path because you wanted it to support a life that works for you. And that's exactly the kind of business I want to help women build. So if you're listening to this and something in this episode has resonated with you, and you'd like to explore what it might look like to have this sort of support inside your business, I would love to have a conversation. No pressure, no expectations, just the space for us to talk about what's going on in your world and whether I might be able to support you. You can send me a direct message on social media or drop me an email and we can take it from there. In the meantime, I'm off to update my website and my bios to reflect this new chapter of Sue Richards coaching. And I'd love you to stay on this journey with me to see where this next evolution leads.